Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of English Grammar with Max. Today we're going to talk about present perfect continuous. First, let's start with the structure of present perfect continuous, or how a present perfect continuous sentence is made. Let's start with a positive sentence. She has been writing. In a positive sentence in present perfect continuous, we start the sentence with our subject. And after that, we have our first auxiliary verb. In a present perfect continuous, we have two auxiliary verbs. The first one is have or has. I have, you have, she has, he has, it has, we have, you have, they have. And the next auxiliary verb is been. The thing is, this been never changes. So, I have been, you have been, she has been, he has been. The been is always the same. And in the end, we have the main verb in ing form. So, she has been writing. A negative example. I haven't been driving, for example. Again, the sentence starts with our subject. And after that, in a negative sentence, we always make the first auxiliary verb negative. So I haven't, which is the contracted form of I have not. I haven't been is always fixed, we don't change it, driving. So subject, first auxiliary verb in negative form, second auxiliary verb which doesn't change at all, and then driving, the main verb in ing form. And a yes or no question. We say, have you been crying? In a yes or no question, we start the sentence with our first auxiliary verb, which is have or has. Have you, and after that, we use our subject. After the subject is our next auxiliary verb, been, which again never changes. And in the end, we have the main verb in ing form. Now, a WH question. What have you been doing? In a WH question, in present perfect continuous, we start the sentence with a WH question word. What, where, why, when, and so on. And after that, we have as our first auxiliary verb. Again, the same rule. I have, you have, she has, he has, and so on. And then we have our subject. After the subject, we have our next auxiliary verb, which again never changes in present perfect continuous. It is always been. And in the end, we have our main verb in ing form. Okay, now let's talk about the function of present perfect continuous in English, or why we use a present perfect continuous sentence in English. We use present perfect continuous to describe something that started in the past and is still in progress or was in progress until very recently. Now, what does that mean when we say it started in the past and is still in progress. We have two cases. I'm going to give you two examples, one for each case. Is still in progress or was in progress until very recently. The first example is a very famous example for present perfect continuous. We say, your eyes are red. Have you been crying? Your eyes are red. Have you been crying? So let me show you this example on a timeline. Let's say this is the timeline for this one, and this is now or the present time. It says, your eyes are red. Have you been crying? It means that person is not crying anymore. We only can see the sign of crying or probable crying, the red eyes. So we have something that is started in the past and finished very recently. It means like a few seconds ago or a few minutes ago or a short while ago. The important thing is it has finished. So this continuous action is crying, and it ended here. So we say, for example, your eyes are red. Have you been crying? You could say, no, I have been peeling onions. Again, it ended a few minutes ago, but we can see the results. Another example for this one, for the first one, which is still in progress. We say, I have been working for hours. Now let me show you this one on a timeline. Again, this is the present moment or the present time. So it says I have been working for hours. Let's say this is working and this is the present moment. Sometimes we don't know if the action is finished or not. That is why for the continuation of the action we show the timeline with a dashed line, because it might be still going on. Sometimes we say I have been working for hours and I still have a lot to do. So we know that the action is not finished. It is still in progress. These are the two main cases when we use present perfect continuous in English. Okay. Now, a few points about present perfect continuous. Sometimes we use present perfect continuous to emphasize the duration of an action. What does that mean? We say, I've been waiting for 2 hours. The emphasis of this sentence is on this spot, for 2 hours. And we use, this is one of the functions of present perfect continuous, to emphasize the duration of an action. We say, I've been waiting for 2 hours in here, or I've been working all morning. Okay, now another point. Sometimes there is little difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous. And again, sometimes there is a little difference between present perfect, or sometimes we call it present perfect simple, as opposed to present perfect continuous. Let me give you an example. She has lived here for 4 years. Or we could say this apostrophe s in here is the contracted form for she has, and in here again she has. She has been living here for 4 years. There is not much difference between these two sentences. The same goes with like he's worked here for 10 years, or he's been working here for 10 years. So sometimes, only sometimes, there is little difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous, and it depends on your verb. Okay, now another point. In present perfect, the attention is on the result of an action. But in present perfect continuous, the attention or the emphasis, the attention is on the action and sometimes its duration. For example, when you say, I've written the letter, another example, I've been writing the letter. I've been writing the letter. Sometimes you could say, I've been writing the letter for the past 2 hours, or for 2 hours, or since 8 in the morning. As you can see in here, we have say, I've written the letter. The emphasis or the attention in a present perfect sentence is on the result of the action. When you say, I've written the letter, it means, what is the result? The letter is ready. So the attention or the focus is on the result of the action. But in here, I've been writing the letter. The attention is on the action itself. Or if you mention the duration, the attention is focused on the duration of the action. Now the last point before we get to the exercises. The difference between been and gone. When we say he's been to the museum, or he's gone to the museum. When you say he's been to the museum, we talked about present perfect in previous episode, if you remember. This is only talking about an experience in the past. We say he's been to the museum. It means he has the experience of visiting the museum at some time in the past. But in here, he's gone to the museum. It means he is still at the museum. He hasn't returned yet. So this is the difference between been and gone in present perfect form. Okay, now let's do some exercises together. These exercises are from the book Intermediate Language Practice. Let's begin. Let's start with the exercises. Underline the correct word or phrase in each sentence. I'll give you a few seconds. You can pause the video and write the answers. I'll start explaining them in a few seconds. Okay, let's begin. The first one is, I've lived here since the end of last year. Because, it's got since, it is implying that your tense should be past, so your tense should be present perfect. B, I'm afraid the last train left an hour ago. In here, we have an hour ago, which is a specific past time, and it implies that we need to use past simple. C, someone has just stolen my bicycle. So we are emphasizing on the end of an action, the result of an action. So we use present perfect simple. It means I don't have a bicycle right now. D, thank you for your offer, but I've decided not to accept it. Again, in here we are talking about something that happened and finished in the past, which is still relevant to the present. It means I don't want to do that. I have made up my mind. E, yesterday I lost my wallet. Because we have another specific past time, we use past simple. F, take your umbrella with you. It's started raining. When you say it's started raining, it means it is raining now. But when you use past simple, for example, when you say it started raining, it might have finished. So we don't know if it is raining right now or not. So we use present perfect because we are focusing on the current situation, which is raining. G, we're enjoying our trip. We have visited, or we've visited 2 countries so far. Again, so far is a hint for you to be able to say this should be in present perfect. H, I've been standing here for hours and I feel tired. Again, in here, because you are emphasizing on the duration of an action which started in the past and is still going on. So we use present perfect continuous. I, this has been a busy day and it isn't over yet. Again, because the time you're describing, or the time during which the action is happening is not finished yet, we use present perfect. Because when you use past simple or was in here, you're talking about a finished time. But a busy day, which is today, is not finished yet. J, I feel really tired. We went to a party last night. Again, we have a specific past time, last night. That's why we need to use past simple. All right, next exercise. Put each verb in brackets into either the present perfect, past simple, or present simple. Again, you can pause the video, write the answers, and I'm going to start explaining them in a few seconds. Okay, let's begin. Last week, I lost. Again, we have a specific past time, so we use past simple. I lost my scarf, and now I've just lost my gloves. When you say now, it means you are emphasizing, or you're focusing on the result of something. The result is you don't have your gloves now, so we use present perfect. And besides, just is a hint for you to use present perfect in here. B, I work for Blue Bank at the moment. You are describing a fact in the present, so we use present simple. But I've decided, or I have decided to change jobs. It means I have a new decision now. We are focusing on the result of your decision. C, we have been here for hours. Emphasizing on the duration, we are describing something that started in the past and is still going on using present perfect. But you need to remember that from the previous episodes, we generally don't use non-action verbs in progressive or continuous tenses. That is why in here be is a non-action verb, so we cannot say we have been being here. It doesn't make sense. So we use present perfect. Are you sure we have come to the right place? When you say we have come to the right place, it means you are focusing your attention on the result. It means you are there now. That is the result of you coming to that place. So we use present perfect. D, have you seen my calculator? It means until now. You're asking someone if they have the experience, one of the functions of present perfect, of seeing your calculator. I'm sure I left it here earlier. Again, you have specific past time, so we use past simple. E, we had some coffee and then caught the bus home. Whenever you're telling a story, we don't generally use present perfect tense in telling stories. We describe main events one after another using past simple. F. I have never eaten octopus. You're talking about something that you have never experienced in the past using present perfect, and never. But once on a holiday, I ate some squid. Because once in here, once on holiday is a specific past time, so you need to be using past simple. G. I hope. We use, for example, when you're expressing your opinion, you say I think, you use present simple. When you're expressing your wish, you say I hope. We use present simple for hope, wish, or I guess, or I think. And generally, we are expressing a fact, so we need to be using present simple. I hope you aren't a vegetarian. I have cooked you some, that needs to be some, I have cooked you some lamb chops. It means you are focusing your attention on the result. It means some lamb chops are on the table. That is the result of your action. That is why we use present perfect. H. Recently, a lot of people have taken up kite surfing. Again, when you say recently, we could use, for example, people have just taken up kite surfing, or we could use recent. We could say recently. A lot of young people have taken up kite surfing. Again, you're focusing your attention on the result of an action. It means that right now a lot of young people are doing kite surfing. I. When we reached the cinema, there weren't any tickets left. Again, it's as if you are telling a story, so you are describing two main events happening one after another, so we use past simple. J. Please come quickly. Nick has had an accident. Again, focusing your attention on the result of something, which is having an accident. It means Nick is, or Nick has gone, he has gone to hospital. It means he is in hospital now. All right, next exercise and the last one. Complete the second sentence so that it means the same as the first one. Don't use more than 3 words. Again, you can pause the video, write the answers. I'll start explaining them in a few seconds. All right, let's begin. I came to live here 3 months ago. I have lived here for 3 months. In here, if you draw the timeline for both sentences, the both timelines need to be the same, or need to describe the same situation and the same actions. B. Sophie is out at the shops at the moment. We could say Sophie has gone to the shops, because when you use gone with present perfect, you mean that person is there, so that person has not returned yet. C. I've had French lessons since March. We could say I have been studying French since March. You're describing a continuous action that started in the past and is still going on, or was going on until very recently, so we use present perfect continuous. D. I'm still reading this book. We say, I haven't finished reading this book yet. Again, something that has not finished yet, so we use present perfect. E. Paul left the room a moment ago. Paul has just left the room. When you say a moment ago, it means you could use present perfect with just. F. It's ages since I last went to the cinema. I haven't been to the cinema for ages. Again, both of the sentences show the same, have the same timeline. G. This is the first time I've eaten snails. Or you could say I've never eaten snails before, using present perfect with never to describe your experience, or a lack of experience for that matter. H. I don't remember Helen's phone number. Or you could say I've forgotten Helen's phone number. Again, we use present perfect in here because we are focusing our attention on the result of an action, which is forgetting something. It means you don't know Helen's phone number right now. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of English Grammar with Max. I hope you found it useful. And if you liked it, don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.